Welcome to the Locksmith Security Network. LSN is your powerful resource, hosted by Wayne Winton for all things locksmith and security. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are on with the Locksmith Security Network podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Winton, and today we have a very special guest, Jimmy J from Iowa LockDoc. Jimmy, tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your story and why you're here today.
Well, I am here in response to your video that you put out just a few weeks ago asking what members of ALOA are interested in if you were to become president, or even just in general, things that the organization could do and should do. And so we corresponded a bit, and that's one of the things that you hit on the Google topic. And since I started my business full-time back in 2022, I've made several attempts to join the Google world and have a business profile. And I've talked with several people since that time. It's not just me that has a hard time getting it done, getting it completed. There are so many people that have tried and not succeeded and have jumped through all the hoops. I will say this, I have worked with 6 different individuals from 5 different marketing companies, and they all claim that, oh, no problem, we do this all day long. And then they find out that the locksmith trade and community is shunned by Google. And so my ask of you in our conversation was, if you become president, or even just for the board to acknowledge, we need to do something to address this issue. We are a large organization of professional people, and we should be, as an organization, having some form of contact with Google that we could use, because we do background checks on locksmiths before they join the association. We can utilize that and leverage our experiences as an organization with Google to help ensure that people are legit. We know there's a problem in the industry. There are people that are fly by night, and we certainly don't want that. As a professional in this organization, I want the organization to grow, I want our trade to grow, and I want it to do it in a way that people feel comfortable with. When they call a locksmith, they don't have any apprehension. And it's hard to find those if Google's blocking us. I've gone through all the steps to get my information in there, and I have literally spent, and again, in speaking with all these individuals and trying it on my own through Google's frequently asked questions, all of the things, I've literally spent 40 hours in the past couple of years now trying to get my business profile active. That, my friends, that is a 1-week vacation that I will not get.
Right. Yeah, it's so sad to hear that. And you're not the only story. I mean, the really, really tragic part about this is your story is more common than most people would think. And it happens a lot. It seems like if you didn't get in on that, that real early first wave and kind of cement your Google listing in at that time, when the scams started happening. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, Google's in kind of a weird position too, because they're getting overloaded with people who are experts about knowing the algorithms and getting profiles listed. Like, scam companies know that. They know that they're way better at computers. They're way better at more social media marketing. They're better at SEO. They're better at understanding the algorithms of these programs, and they're better at getting those businesses listed than we are, because we're locksmiths, for crying out loud. And we can only afford so much to pay a professional to do it for us. And it's a terrible situation. If they don't do anything, then the scammers overrun everything. If they start taking accounts down, well, then some good guys' accounts are going to get taken down in the aftermath. It is a difficult problem to solve. And I agree with you that would be one of the things that I would really push for. And that's one of the things that I'm campaigning on is how do we, as an association, try and work with Google? I do believe, I'm not speaking for the association here. I got to be a little careful with exactly what I say, because I am the Southwest board director. I have to kind of walk a line here, but I believe that they have tried to contact Google before and offer that support. I don't believe it really went anywhere. But by the same token, I'm one of those relentless people that kind of, if you tell me no, I pretty much ignore it and then just keep doing the same thing, or adjusting the approach. Okay, that dude said no. Okay, we didn't get a response from that person. Let's find somebody else. Okay, we
Exactly.
didn't get a
We
response
know
back. Let's find somebody. Like you change your approach until you find the result that you're looking for. Until somebody says, "Please stop calling and emailing us. We're tired of hearing from you, and we're not going to use your association. Go away." Until I hear that, I think that it's worth trying to continue to beat on that door. And it is a David versus Goliath on steroids situation. But by the same token, we can't just lay down and do nothing either. I really think that the association does have that would be the number one reason for if ALOA had, like you said, just submitted a list. Hey, here's the people that we have that are registered, that have background checks ran, contact information, use the Find a Locksmith page, use the information off of there. These are the people that we have registered and that are legitimate. It would be a whole lot more powerful and useful than Google just doing it the way that they're doing it now, because so many accounts are getting taken down. I feel it's for so many people out there. Like it's your hope, it's your dream. This is everything that you want. You've been working for somebody else and you've been saving your money and you've been, doing double time. I mean, a lot of people work 9-to-5 jobs and then they work the 5-to-9 job as a locksmith and do calls on the weekends. And they're putting $100 or $200 away every call. And, they're doing this for a year or two. And then finally they've got enough money. They're ready to launch and go full time. And then what do you know? They run into this gigantic problem that is getting their listing listed. And they didn't even see this as a problem. And now the money that they had is being bled and drained out because they're trying to get listed on Google, and then it doesn't happen. And now they don't have any resources left for marketing. And now they might have to go back to their original 9-to-5. They might not make it because of this. That's how dire it is. And that's who I'm trying to work for and talk to here.
And I agree. The problem is hard to juggle for Google, and I can easily bash them. It's very easy to, because of my experience. But if I put the shoe on the other foot and I think about it from Google's perspective, I'm quite sure have some notion that they carry responsibility to put legitimate companies on there. And this industry does have some issues with, people claiming to be locksmiths. I'll guarantee you, everyone that has joined ALOA is doing so because they feel that they are representing this business sector. They're representing locksmiths in the greatest way that you can, honorably and with a big heart to go out there and help people. And, like I show up and you show up in branded apparel. I have a van. It's completely lettered. You can see me a mile away. My picture is on my website. So when I show up to a client's location, I was even in a restaurant some time ago. The manager came up to me. She says, "Oh, hi, I'm Shelly. I'm the one that you're going to be talking with in a couple of days." She had called me and she recognized my picture. I wasn't even wearing apparel. So we know some of the things that we can do as locksmiths that help ourselves without Google. But boy, it sure would be nice, because so many people that I speak with, where did you find me? Oh, I Googled you. Now my website does float to the top. But but it's not because of ads. I do not have any ads currently running. It's just kind of an organic result that seems to be there. Cross my fingers it doesn't change.
Right.
But you know, the business profile would be great. When you go to Google Maps and you hit locksmith near me, I don't show up, but that little kiosk at Menards does.
Right. There's no person there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The key me's and minute keys and all that. Those are a problem too. I mean, how can you call? And again, it goes back to money. It goes back to corporate money. I mean, Kimi is supposed to be the largest locksmith in the entire country right now.
is that right?
There's not one person that works at one of those little kiosk boxes, for crying out loud. How are they the number one source? Well, you know, there's a business guy that was like, hey, our business, like, think of it like this. It's like McDonald's, right? What does McDonald's sell?
Burgers, food, all that good stuff.
But where's the money? It's in real estate. Ray Kroc
that's right.
was rich in real estate. He owned the land underneath.
That was their business model. I do
That
remember.
was their business model. It wasn't hamburgers. He didn't care about hamburgers. He cared about the land that was underneath it, right? And so that's kind of the same scenario that we've got to look at with this is, what exactly are we selling? What is Kimi selling? It's not keys, really. I mean, it's leads. They get in there and now they all of a sudden become the number one lead generator because they can get on top of the Google Maps and there's a bunch of different locations in one city. Obviously, you're going to take some calls away from some local folks if you've got 10 kiosks in one city and they all start ranking on Google My Business. You know, I mean, it's pretty common, pretty normal. So they then take that, you call them, and then it turns into a call center, right? Then they try and sell you your own callback in your city for a very, very much reduced rate. I actually called and I set up an appointment with these guys and they sent a tow truck driver out to come open my vehicle, which I told him to leave. You know, I was like, get out of here. And so they're taking these calls in and then they're siphoning them off to the lowest bidder, which in some aspects, I'm betting a lot of the scam companies are probably getting these calls from Minute Key. So they're helping support that industry as far as I can tell. And yet again, it's one less call for the actual true locksmith who's there. Not to mention these key kiosks don't look at the keys. They don't read do not duplicate. You can go get a do not duplicate key and you can go get it copied right now. And nobody's going to say anything.
Yep.
Now, granted, that's a whole nother ball of worms that we can talk about efficacy of do not duplicate keys and actual restricted keyway systems. Like you, I run the MX system so that we can actually offer real key control. This key doesn't just say do not duplicate. Go ahead and try and go get it duplicated. It is cannot duplicate unless you have the blanks, which only I can buy through contract. So there's a lot to unpack there, but you can see how it's all woven together and how everything kind of, works together on that. You've got a little bit of a presentation here. If you want to throw that up and kind of walk us through it, go ahead.
Well, and I will touch on just a couple things that you said. So I don't forget, if Andy Dufresne from Shawshank is somewhere out there and we could employ him to write letters every week so that he got his library, maybe we could get in contact with Google and maybe we need that approach. The other thing is, you were asking about, some of the things that Kimi does. They're just a contact, but if they're not getting real locksmiths out there, we are problem solvers. We're not just key duplicators. We're not just hanging new door hardware, although that is part of what we do. We find solutions. We know the products. We have industry contacts. We go to shows and see those new products, have conversations. We attend classes, whether they be online, in person, at trade shows, or through your suppliers, whoever it may be. We make a huge effort to make sure that we're up to date with our knowledge base. And again, back to where ALOA is a great resource for Google. And again, also then touching it should they should have a little bit of pause. They should feel like they have a little bit of control, and have to be able to parse that out. But they could certainly partner with us and provide a better result for everybody. So,
yeah, and it doesn't have to be totalitarian either. It can be an in addition to. Look, if you guys are having a question or you have somebody who's kind of on the fence and you don't know whether they're legitimate or not, this system, whether they're verified with us or not, that's just another way to verify the information that they've already given you. If all of the stars line up, then you're probably got somebody who's more legitimate. If they don't add up, then you've probably got somebody who's maybe not. And, you know, that's not to say that a scammer has never infiltrated and got to find a business listing through ALOA either. I'm not saying that they're saints. I'm not saying that it's foolproof, because that's the first thing people are going to do. They want to poke holes in your story, right? People want to point out the faults, which is another reason why ALOA doesn't like to take stands on things, in my humble opinion, is because they know that somebody's going to be out there pointing the finger, trying to poke holes in it. But I feel that something has to be done at this particular point in time. We can't afford to just sit back and continue down the road that we've gone down, because it's the association's becoming less and less relevant. It's becoming less and less powerful. It's becoming less and less
attractive to
the people.
Yeah. If you are a locksmith out there and you're asking yourself, why should I join?
Right.
It's an opportunity to just for an organization to take more of my money, and they don't understand the return that they can get. We're doing a poor job marketing that in some ways. There are several people I know that are not ALOA members, and I encourage them to become one because it adds to the voice that we have. But yeah, it's the future is going to be new members.
Yeah.
And if it continues to decline and those new members, they don't see a cost benefit, whether it be a cost benefit or a legitimate benefit to joining the organization, it'll wither and die. And that's not what we need. If people join, I encourage people to join and have a voice. The more people that have the same concerns, those are the things that should be focused on. I would ask this. When was the last time that ALOA updated their mission statement?
Right.
I think, and I'm not bashing the organization, I'm just trying to provide feedback and positive feedback. And again, answering your question, what would you like to see the future be? We need to be moving at the speed of business. And right now, the speed of business is pretty darn quick. Things can happen quickly in our organization, whether it be, a bad news story that travels the country, and now every locksmith is demonized. We need to have some way to respond to that. And honestly, as an organization, that would be a fantastic thing if we had somebody that was willing to tackle that type of issue.
Right.
So those are some thoughts. Those are some suggestions. But yeah, our baseball team, every year, my son's in high school baseball. Every year, the coach will ask, what's the slogan? What do you guys want to go for? They're kind of revisiting their mission statement each season. And if we don't have a dedicated North Star, as a friend of mine had mentioned, and a direction to go in, then we're just aimlessly wandering around, and that's not helpful.
Plan to fail. Plan to fail, or what is it? Make a plan or plan to fail.
There you go.
Planning to fail, something along those lines. I can't think of exactly what it is right now, but something along those lines. If you don't have a plan, you're going to fail, is basically what it comes down to and what it boils down to. And I agree. I'm on the board as the Southwest director, and I'm running for president, and I'm doing that because I think they need a fire lit up under them. My goodness, it is frustrating. And I really say this with a lot of love for the organization. I want to give back, and I want to bring it back to what it used to be. It was, I would say the vast majority of locksmiths were ALOA members in the 80s and 90s. You could get education, you could get your networking, you could get all those things. And now the internet has basically replaced that for free. And so what does the association have left to offer? Well, what you just said. I mean, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to get a course put together for some basics. Hey, have you lost your Google business listing? Okay, well, if your listing has been suspended, here's 10 things that you can do that don't involve Google, right? That you can do besides Google. And these are tools that they can put to use and implement right away. How to utilize Facebook ads and Instagram ads and TikTok ads, how to use paper marketing, how to use boots on the ground and get out there and talk and shake hands, get out there with the local chamber of commerce, like a whole list of different things that people could use as tools to help their business in that situation. And right now the organization doesn't have anything like that. And it's like pulling teeth to get them to offer anything like that. And I sit in these board meetings and I just get ever so frustrated with the snail's pace that it takes to get anything done. You sit in a board meeting and you have all of these other people, and I can't go into too much detail about what happens in the board meetings for obvious reasons, but I can tell you this, that there's too many chefs in the kitchen. Everybody wants to put their ingredient in the sauce or the stew, if you will. And what ends up happening is everybody dumps their ingredient in, and then it makes it taste like crap, and then you got to throw the whole thing away and start over. That's usually the way that things work. Every now and then they might produce an actual result, and we might actually come up with something to where we can herd all of the cats in one direction and accomplish something. But
I'll say this.
it's difficult.
When I look at ALOA, I look at the other members in there, and I consider them to be my brotherhood because we're in the same trade. We're both after the same goals. We have customers that we would like to service, and we want to do the absolute best job that we can doing that.
Yeah.
And I have shared a number of different things. I've created a lot of my own brochures. I've shared those with a number of people. My MX system, I created a brochure for that, and I shared that with my supplier so that if they want to use it, if you go to GMS, they have a brochure, but it's not been updated in a long, long time, and it's very minimal.
Right.
And so maybe those are things that ALOA could do as well, not necessarily for a specific product, but broad general information. Typically, other locksmiths that I've encountered at the ALOA shows or other trade shows and educational opportunities, there's a lot of great people, and I'm talking to every one of you. You are great, and you're skilled, and we probably agree that there's times when we really are searching for words to describe a system, and you might think about it later on. Boy, I wish I would have described it like this, or I wish I would have some information that I could leave with my customer.
Right.
So if we had a resource, because we're ALOA members, we have access to maybe a small little sheet about master keying or about restricted key systems, something that they could just literally take a stamp, put their name and phone number and business name on there, and leave it with the customer. It would be a professionally done piece of literature. It would cover all the topics and use verbiage that might be appealing to a customer, not necessarily from a locksmith's perspective, because we tend to get very technical, and sometimes that doesn't sell products, it doesn't sell systems, it doesn't resonate with people in the same way. And let's face it, probably the majority of us are better skilled at the actual locksmithing than we are salesmanship. And so a lot of times we expect if we rattle off a list of things that this product can do, it'll be apparent to whoever we're talking to. And I remember in my former life when I was in telecom for 20 some odd years, the one technician that just made me laugh, he was he went to a business. We had tested the circuit good. And when he arrived, he says, what's going on here? And I told him what I experienced. He said, oh, hold on. There was a gal walking by, says, ma'am, hey, just to let you know, this switch right here, it needs to be on. And she stopped him right away. I could hear it in the background. She goes, you're getting too technical for me. And a simple on-off switch was too technical. And we do have customers like that don't understand all the great things that we know about this product or that. And so if we just had some simple things that explained the benefits of having a locksmith, or a number of different things, you can think of a dozen things available, that would help take that weight off the shoulders of a small locksmith, a single man shop. And it would look professional, and it would add to our credibility. And I think that is something that could be considered.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with a lot of those things. And like I said, I really enjoy the association. I
I do
don't
too.
enjoy the amount of effort that it takes to try and offer something for them to then offer for their members. It is like pulling teeth at times.
When
And I
I was
understand their point of view is they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to have a
sure,
lawsuit. They don't want to provide the wrong information and then have to clean up a mess. But by the same token, doing nothing is a choice too. And it's the worst
fear is
choice
not
of
a
all.
motivator
Yeah.
that succeeds.
Yeah.
We constantly deal with issues every day in our own businesses where what we say could be, held to question, and it's a risk that comes with doing something,
Yeah.
and it just comes with it. It's part of it. When I was a CB, we would have our general military training, and one of the things I remember was a presentation put together by Colin Powell, and one of those things that he mentioned was, a good idea is a good idea. It doesn't matter who gets credit for it.
Right.
And again, if we have direction and we can have kind of a North Star that we're guiding towards, I think these should be things that are not controversial. It's just a matter of helping our members, helping gain a foothold in certain areas. And ALOA does a lot of great things, and I'm not bashing them. I don't want anybody perceive me. I'm looking for ways that we can enhance our brotherhood.
You're asking for more action, more swift action, action to
Mhm.
happen faster at a faster pace.
I've been a member now for 3 years, and other organizations that I've been part of, I've seen more movement with them.
Okay.
I recently have joined our Chamber of Commerce in town,
Yep.
and at the request of some friends of mine, I have seen in the past year them move forward and how they are attracting other businesses that have been in town for a long time, and you'd think we're already members. And they are doing things to attract those businesses, and there's no reason that we can't be making that effort within ours,
Absolutely.
especially for our members, for the trade. There, we partner with, and there's a lot of information that's out there with manufacturers. I would like to see, and I have seen at some of the ALOA events, there are business related classes. I would love to see a company come in. Now, personally, I use Square to do my invoicing. I would love to see, and I don't think they have anybody that would come out to a trade show, but maybe somebody that is using it, maybe they could put on a small presentation to help people who are struggling with invoicing, or help people that are struggling with inventory management. What tools are out there? What are available? On the business side, that is, again, one of the challenges when you have technicians that are very good technically, but if you're a one-man shop or you want to evolve and become your own shop, and leave what you're doing to pursue locksmithing full-time, those are the folks that we need to help and have options and information and tools available. Selling a book that's maybe been out there for 10 years, at couple $100, while I understand that you don't want that information maybe to fall into other people's hands, and the price point is such that you will get a return on that information. We need to be offering some other things as well. So
Yeah, I agree. And that's some of the things that I want to start offering. I'm going to be donating a class that is dedicated to understanding Google a little bit better. I'm working on that right now. Google Black Book of Secrets, how to, survive without it, or try and get your business listed, or try and not get suspended. I do want to get to your presentation. If you'd like to throw that up real quick, I do plan on trying to.
I lost your voice there for a second. Are you still there, Wayne? If you are, great.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. All right. I'll just go ahead. So a little bit about me. I've been working with locks and apprenticed under a local locksmith here in town back in 2012, graduate of Ashworth College's locksmith program. Retired from a Fortune 500 company in like 2021 as a lead technical trainer of telecom transport technologies. And I opened up Iowa Lock Dock in 2022 full-time. Navy CB, and I have a degree in business management as well. One of the things that I've started with was, if I'm going to do this full-time, I had to have some direction. So I knew marketing would be a part of it, and so I knew that would include Google. I currently have a little bit of a dim view of Google, and I'll tell you a little bit about some of the business decisions that I've made because I'm not listed on Google. So when I opened the business, of course, you have business plans. You start to go through all the legal forms and tax forms that you need, everything to establish and develop your brand. You want to be consistent in that. And my van is lettered. I created my own logo. It's on all my shirts that I wear. Depending on the season, I have a shirt for every season and then some. So all of my marketing was including, that brand and developing it so that it was recognizable. But I also had to do it frugally, right? And again, as the one-man shop that I am, I'm doing everything from taking calls, doing the work, doing scheduling, resources for purchasing and the like. And so you have to be mindful of that. And so putting all of that together, then also having a web page that's a little bit more than just a splash page, build out social media, which I have yet to do. Google seemed like a good idea though, right? That's the first place that everyone's going to look. And who or what isn't on Google Maps? Me. And what is on Google Maps? A lot of other stuff. I'll share some of those that I have found here locally. But understanding that process of how you can get your business verified, following that, and honestly, if anyone else is out there that have tried like I have, that process seems to be a labyrinth. And even in following that process, I'm still not listed. If you're a locksmith, it seems like the instant response is heck no, you won't be listed. I recall there was a high school student. They baked cookies at home on the side. They had a listing. You can whittle ducks in your garage and sell them and be listed. You can spend tens of thousands of dollars on your business. Nope, you don't get a listing. You can buy Google ads and products from Google, still no listing. And if you appeal, ask a pro or ask another pro. I've spoken with 6 different people in 5 different organizations. They're all stymied. They cannot believe the difficulty that exists for locksmiths. Cumulatively, I've spent 40 plus hours trying to get my Google business profile approved. And folks, that's a week vacation. I have not been successful. You can see here on the right, Google verification card that I received. I thought that would be the thing that actually did it, and it did not succeed. It instantly went from verified within a half second. It went to not verified, and I have been stuck there ever since. Um, this was sent to my home address, and yeah. What else is out there on Google? Home-based businesses such as hair salons and lawn care companies. And if you notice, this business right here is yet to be claimed. Oops. You can have clothing stores in your home, apparently. There's Cozy Dragon Boutique and Made with Love Designs, both clothing stores in residential homes. You can have a recording studio or a lawn care landscaping business at an apartment location. You can be a contractor, which, sometimes does occur. People work from their home. But this business hasn't even been claimed yet, and they have a listing. I'm not even sure what Orion Travelers are, but they say that they're a store. And this is in a townhouse that is here in town. And again, this business is yet to be claimed. So these businesses are all on Google. You can even have a garden. I'm not even exactly sure what that is, and how a residence is listed on Google with a garden. But again, these are all businesses that are listed on Google. And why are so many businesses that aren't even claimed showing up on maps? Why is there such a roadblock for us in the locksmith trade? I would just encourage everyone, if you're watching this, if you've tried creating a Google profile and you're failing, I hope things change. My friend Nick from Nick's Lock and Key has recently had success. His business profile was recently approved. Maybe things are changing, and I'm optimistic that things will. But I would suggest that people join ALOA, and as a member, demand that leadership carve a path for us to be recognized. We're the largest association of locksmiths in the world, and we should have the power to be recognized. And then some other options, because I've not been found on Google, that are important. Remember, Google is not on Main Street. They're in California, and the bulk of us are not there. All of the business that you are doing is local, so get to know those local people. Build those local relationships, whether they be with property management companies, Better Business Bureau, or Chamber of Commerce. Advertise locally, know your local market, and ask and learn about your market to those people that you're speaking with, and be a value buyer when you buy advertising. Don't just go out there and dump money blindly. I have a good friend of mine who is the program manager at a radio station, and one of his salespeople and I have gotten to be friends as well. He just said, I don't think radio is a good place for you to market your business. And he was honest about that. And he's, trying to sell spots. Market yourself wisely. Again, consistent branding. Create a logo, spend a little money on that if you're not capable of doing it on your own. Utilize your website and social media in a way that portrays us as professionals. Don't also be posting pictures of your vacation or anything. Keep it solely focused on your business. That adds a level of professionalism that is going to be incredibly valuable to you. And then don't dilute your brand with cheap, trinkets or products that are offered. Anybody can go to the local Lowe's, Menards, Home Depots, and they can get those products there. If people do offer or at call and they've purchased things, don't turn them away because of that. Try to build that relationship with folks. People are always looking to save money. And if they aren't capable of installing that, don't have a negative attitude towards folks that did purchase something there, just help them along and maybe explain to them why we are a value. You're trying to build relationships and grow your customer base. So even when people bring automotive keys, you do have to have some level of concern about what type of material is used in those keys so you don't damage your machines. But just let them know, like for instance with me, I do not do a whole lot of automotive. I don't advertise that I do, but on occasion I do help people out that ask, and I just tell them you're really not saving much money by purchasing that on your own. You're taking all the risk. So help educate your customers and that clientele. We are unique, and locksmiths are unlike any other trade out there, and this allows us to be different. And yet, as you do, be true to the trade. There are only certain things that locksmiths can rock like nobody else. So do it and bring honor to our trade. We're professionals that specialize in products. We're expected to be experts of those products. We need to approach our clients with that mindset, no arrogance or dismissive tone to any suggestion, but a helpful guiding direction to help those end users for a solid solution. Be creative. Again, since we're locksmiths, we can do things that we can promote things that other people can't. Do something fun and different. Let those ideas stand out. Market yourself with items that reflect our trade. Recently, when I had my ribbon cutting at the Chamber of Commerce, which they call an alliance now, I brought in my key machine and I let people engrave their own coupon. This free service call was just engraved on a D&D key, and that was their coupon. People will take business cards all day long and lose them and forget about them, but this was different and unique, and I had a lot of success with that. Come up with some alternative marketing. Make flyers that are for a specific purpose or for specific types of clients. Realtors, in this example, I've created a little flyer. I just leave a whole bunch of these at those offices, and they stuff them in their packets. This reads, "Your beautiful new home, its front door is open. Home security is a top concern these days. Do you wonder how many keys the prior owner gave out? Contact Iowa Lock Dock before you move in to schedule a rekey service on the day you take possession for peace of mind." And on the back, I have a checklist of many different entry points. And if there is a door code or if there is a garage door opener keypad on the outside, reset those and then put the new code down. This is something that will give people peace of mind. A professional has looked at it. Folks that come to investigate your new home, is there an electrical issue? Is there a problem with the windows or the roof? Those things might be noted, but rarely have I ever seen anybody mention anything about locks. Again, as business professionals in this field, we know these products, and if we see a problem, we can note that and let them know of potential issues. Maybe there's a latch that spring is just not working well and needs to be replaced. That is a concern, and someone could easily get in if that's a vulnerability. So when you know your products and services, you can serve the multiple roles in your community and make it easier to talk about what we do. As a locksmith, we aren't just about lock and keys, but we're problem solvers to many different types of customers with a wide variety of needs. We're going to help those customers find solutions to their problem. I created, again, this is a brochure that I created for my key control, restricted key control, and all the different finishes available, what keys look like, and all the benefits of it. So try to be creative, ask other people what they do. And in my opinion, I have no issue sharing my ideas with other people. If someone uses one of my ideas, I feel like we have a brotherhood here, and everybody can be part of the solution, and creating a gift card or what have you. So if anybody feels like they want to reach out and ask me any questions, be more than happy to respond. Jimmy at iowalockdock.com is a good email, or you can visit my website, reach out to me there as well.
That's great.
But
That's great. Yeah. Thank you for that presentation. That really helps out, and it really puts things into perspective. This is what I'm talking about. Like, you're taking the initiative, you see a problem, and you problem solve. That is what we need to do, and the association needs to help provide tools so that you can help problem solve. The association is not going to solve your problems for you, but it should be able to give you a toolbox that you can reach in there and apply this tool. Okay, I can't get on Google. Well, what other forms of advertising can we have? Okay, well, we can do, Chamber of Commerce. That's excellent. BNI meetings. Those are excellent choices. When I do business coaching with clients, that's usually the first thing that I'll tell them. Did you join the Chamber of Commerce? Did you join a local BNI meeting? Did you start there? That's going to give you local resources to really start producing customers, because those chamber members, if they're using a business, they're supposed to use the business within that chamber, and there's usually not another locksmith there. So being a security professional, alarm systems, those kind of things, locksmith, those are great resources, and probably the number one thing that I would recommend doing. Then, like you said, get in with realtors. Who's rekeying homes? People that have people that are moving in and out of homes, right?
It's surprising how many people sell their home and the realtor will ask them for a key. They're like, oh, we don't use one.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Electronic locks, you got to wipe out all the codes. People don't know that. And you can provide that information for them. So I really appreciate you being on here today.
Thank you, Wayne.
We're coming up on about an hour now. And, I really appreciate the enthusiasm that you have. And I just want to welcome you to this platform and be able to help get your message out there. And this is what ALOA needs to be doing. This is what the association needs to be doing, providing a platform for members like you to be able to tell your story, because your story is going to connect and resonate with at least a bunch of other people, because they're in the same boat. They're in the same situation. It's going to resonate with them because they know that you've been through it. And they see that you can get out of it, and you're going to give them hope. And that's what we want to give people. We want to give people tools, resources, and hope. And I am trying my darndest to get that to happen through the association. And once again, I have a love for the association, but I do find it frustrating to try and break down some of the walls. But guess what? I'm just not one of those people that goes away when you tell me no. I just figure out a different way and do it anyways.
Well, we know the result that we should expect in this day and age.
Yeah.
And we kind of know where we should be as an organization and as individual businesses. We have goals for our individual businesses. We should have goals for our organization as well. And I'm happy to be a part of that.
Yeah.
The next year and a half, my son will be involved in high school sports, and I do announcing for our junior varsity baseball games in the summer. Once he's done with that, maybe I would be interested in a more active role in the organization. But again, we all have our priorities and such, but I encourage anybody, if you are involved with any organization, and especially one in this trade, be active in it, be part of it. Add your 2 cents, add a nickel's worth. With inflation, there's, a tariff on that. So, right. It's a nickel's worth of information now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jimmy. I really appreciate you being on here today. Thank you for telling your story. It's going to inspire and help other people. If you are in the same position and your business is suspended, try and go through the avenues of trying to find a professional to bring them back. There are certain people out there who have had success of bringing businesses back from the black hole of Google. But don't count on that. Don't put all of your eggs in that Google basket. Do some other things. Jimmy's provided some great suggestions here that put those to use, apply them, contact him directly. You can contact me directly. You can leave comments down in the comments section. As always, please subscribe. We're going to be doing this podcast every single week, and we're going to be talking to people just like Jimmy, and we're going to get this problem hammered out, and we're going to get some answers, and we're going to get some resources, and we are going to be moving. I move at the speed of business, and I drag whatever's lagging behind with me. So that's what we plan on doing with it. So thank you so much, Jimmy.
Take care.
Have a great day. Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Locksmith Security Network. LSN is your powerful resource, hosted by Wayne Winton for all things locksmith and security.